Hello, welcome. We will start today by coming up to our hands and our knees. We are going to center in child's pose. So bring your knees out to the edge of the mat, bring the big toes together, and then just gently sit back on your heels. You're going to inhale for length, nice long spine, and as you exhale, you will walk your hands out. I'm just getting my watch ready here for the time. Gently dropping your forehead to the mat. And then just begin to deepen your breath. Nice deep inhale through the nose, filling up the belly with air, and then letting it go. I encourage you to let out some nice long sighs with your exhale if you'd like, getting rid of anything from the day. And returning to a deep inhale through the nose. If you can, try and keep your mind on your breath. Maybe setting an intention for your practice today. Perhaps you're just here for a nice deep stretch. I will be doing a lot of hip openers. Or maybe you're here for something a little bit more relaxing, something for the mind, for the breath. Either way, just keep on breathing, relaxing into the posture, releasing any tension built up from the day or the evening. Maybe you have a bad mattress, I don't know. Whenever you're doing this practice. Right, we're going to come alive here, lifting that head up from between the arms, walking back up into tabletop. And once you're here, just checking your alignment, making sure that your hips are over your knees and your shoulders are over your wrists. Nice flat back. We'll flow through some cat-cow here, inhaling, arching the back, looking up, and as you exhale, curving your spine, tucking your chin to your chest. Inhale, arching the back, squeezing those shoulders together, and as you exhale, you're pushing out of the shoulders, away from the ground. Inhale, and exhale. And you'll start to match your movement with your breath here. You may be a little faster than me, a little slower. Either way, that's okay. Just try and match the breath with the movement. Inhaling, arching the back, looking up. And with your exhale, curving the spine, tucking the chin. Right, and we're going to thread the needle, inhaling that right arm up. And as you exhale, threading it through the left side, coming down onto the right cheek. And you can place your left arm up by your face, pushing into the mat pushing away from the mat, Or you can go into a half bind, bringing your arm behind you and tucking it in the thigh. Either way, just keep on breathing here. On your next inhale, we'll come back up, inhaling that arm all the way up, stretching back and down. We'll go in on the left side, inhaling that left arm up. And exhaling, threading it through, coming down to the left cheek. Again, you can push into the mat up on those fingertips, or you can bring that arm behind in the half bind, tucking into the thigh. And if you're bound, just bring that arm around, back near the face, inhaling the left arm up, stretching that arm back, and back down to tabletop. This time we're going to inhale that right leg back, and we're tucking the toes. We're going to warm up the toes and the ankles a little bit here. So just gently shifting back and forth and just feeling a nice stretch in the ankle. You should feel it in the calf when you push back. Same with the toes. Then we'll inhale and that leg up and over to the left side. So we're crossing it over the left leg. And then we're looking over to our big toes. So you feel a nice side stretch here. You should feel it on the right side. Just make sure you're breathing. And we'll inhale that leg back up, back to center. And we'll do the left side, inhaling that leg back. And then just working the ankle, the toes, stretching the calf. Whatever feels good right here. It doesn't have to look just like me. You just want to try just warming up the ankles. We're going to be doing a toe stand here in just a minute. All right, we'll inhale that left leg over toward the right and looking over at your right toes. Excuse me, left toes. Side stretch on the left side. And on your next inhale, bring the leg back to center. Now we're just going to warm up the wrists a little bit. We'll be in downward facing dog a few times. So palms flat, fingers facing your knees, and then you're just going to gently sit back. So you don't want to put too much pressure on the inside of your wrist. This is kind of where you feel it is straining. Don't go any further. And then we'll just kind of move them around, circular motion. And then we'll put the backs of the hands down, fingers facing your knees, and then this time just gently shifting forward and then back. Just a gentle rock. Please be mindful of where your body is with this and don't overdo it. And then we'll just wring them out, circle. You can clasp the fingers together and just circular motions back and forth. Just warming up the wrists. We'll be coming into our first posture, a toe stand. So you're going to tuck those toes underneath, trying to get all 5 of them down to the mat, and then gently sitting the hips back. This is your first option. You can stay right here. You will feel this. I promise you'll feel this in your toes. If you want something a little more intense, you can actually come up into a full toe stand here. We're going to be here for 2 minutes. You're going to get a little uncomfortable. So pick where you want to be, the amount of discomfort you are ready to feel. I think I'm going to stay here in this first option. If it starts to feel like too much, you can move your hips forward a little bit, just releasing the tension, but try and hold it if you can for the 2 minutes. We don't give our feet enough love, our toes. This is part of our body that tends to go without stretching when you do any kind of just normal stretching. Make sure you're breathing, and you could pretend to smile like I am, because this is intense. Hang in there. We're almost through. Keep on breathing. All right, and coming back forward into the tabletop, releasing your toes. This should feel amazing. And then we're just going to sit back on those on those heels again. And then with your feet face down, you're just going to shift your hips side to side. So this should kind of just be releasing the tension built up in your toes there. And if you have something different that counters the pose, feel free to try it. However, if you have to stand up and kind of turn your toes out, roll over onto your toes, I don't know, however it feels good. But this shifting is what works for me. And then we're going to come into our next posture here, a yogi squat. So bringing your feet out past your hip width, and you may have to adjust here. Your heels might not touch the ground, and that's okay. If you can get your feet flat and your heels all the way down while keeping a long spine, you're sitting up, you're using your elbows to press your knees out. If you would like, and while I was filming this, it came to my mind, so you'll see in a minute, I'll cut in with a block. You can put a block under your hips. This one's another one that's pretty intense. Or maybe a couple books you could stack underneath. Or you can do right here, sitting in the regular squat. Either way, make sure you're breathing. Try not to sink in to your shoulders, your neck into your shoulders if you can help it. Pulling back, keeping that spine nice and long. Again, this is going to feel intense after a little bit. I am about to transition with a block here in the video. If you need to pause and get one, or the books like I said, or you can just keep on doing the squat without. So I turn it to the second level on the block. All right, and then we'll just keep on breathing here. you're going to gently come out of this, bringing your hands down to the mat and then pushing your hips up into a fold. Keep that spine nice and long. We can get rid of the block here. And then just gently making your way back over into the tabletop. And then we're going to just do some hip rolls here, I guess you could call them. So, excuse me, not yet. We're going into downward facing dog. Hands out, tuck the toes, send those hips up to the sky. Drop the head between your arms and walk it out, bending one knee at a time. Trying to get those feet flat. It's okay if you can't. When your hamstrings are tight, it's a little bit harder to get the feet all the way down. If you're up on your toes, that's okay. We'll inhale that right leg up. And as you exhale, you're going to bring it forward in between your hands. So our next posture we're going into is lizard. So from here, I'm going to switch over and show you from the front. You'll have your hands on the inside of your leg. So starting in a low lunge. And then you'll roll out onto the outside of your foot. You can stay in the low lunge if you'd like, or you can roll out on the outside of your foot, dropping your knee out, staying up on your hands, or you can come down on your forearms. Just try and keep the back nice and long. So that's what it looks like from the front. I'm going to come back over to the side. So again, you can stay right here in this low lunge right here. This can be pretty deep. Or come on down into lizard and find your breath again. The nice thing about these postures is there are always options, and if you don't like the options that I provide, because sometimes either it's a hard time getting into it, it can be a pretty intense stretch, then you pick something that feels good in your body. If you want to sit back in child's posture, that is one of the beautiful things about yoga, is you make it fit to your needs. Please take your time coming out of this. If you're down on your forearms, you'll come back up on your hands. We're going to bring that knee back in, coming back to the flat foot. And then from there, all you're going to do is just sink your hips back, straightening that right leg, flexing the right foot. And we're actually going to counter with another 2-minute posture here, which is a half split. So it's almost like a forward fold. So you are folding over that right leg, trying to keep your back nice and long. I'm not a very good example here with this one. You should feel a nice hamstring stretch here. Try and keep that foot flexed. And then find your breath again. All right, and we're just going to push back into the lunge, just countering that half split. And then when you're ready, bringing that leg back into tabletop. And then we're just going to sink those hips back and around and forward. So doing some hip circles here. We'll go this way a couple times and then we'll switch directions going the other way. Make sure you're keeping that breath going here. And we'll tuck those toes, walk those hands out from tabletop, lifting the hips up toward the sky, coming back into a downward facing dog. And we're going to pedal the heels out again. Coming to center, we'll inhale that left leg up, bringing it through, bringing your hands to the inside of your foot. We'll go into lizard on the left side. I'll show you again from the side here and from the front. You can stay in that low lunge if you'd like, right here. Or you can come out onto the outside of the left foot, dropping that knee out on the hands or down on the forearms. You just pick where you want to be. And adjusting yourself back into lizard. Come back to that breath. And here we go. We are going to gently bring that foot back in and sinking the hips back, straightening that left leg. Try not to fall over. This can be a little bit of a balancing act as well. Flex that left foot so you're flexing the toes toward you. You should be able to see the tops of your toes. And that was a quick transition. So if you ever need to pause the video so you can adjust and get where you need to go, please feel free to do that. We're going to release that leg, pushing back up into a low lunge. Excuse me. Bringing those hands back to the inside of your foot. Coming back into tabletop. And we're just going to go through those hip circles again. So bringing your hips back around. Sitting back. To the side, all the way around. And once you're back, we'll switch directions. So circling those hips all the way around. And we'll tuck the toes, walk the hands out, and bring those hips up to the sky. And we'll pedal the heels out again. Walk in your dog. And we'll come to steel. And then we're going to come up on the tippy toes and put a nice deep bend in the knees, dropping the chest toward the thighs, dropping that head in between the arms. Just a nice shoulder stretch. And then just gently coming all the way down to the mat. Then we're going to flip over to our backs. We're going to go into a bridge pose. So if you would like, if you have that block or those books nearby, maybe even a pillow, or you don't have to use anything at all, and I'll show you that option as well. So you want to bring your feet toward your pelvis. You want to be able to brush your heels. Knees are together. And then lifting up those hips, you can place that block on the basically right on your tailbone. You don't want to be too far up onto your spine with it. So you can sit right there, or if you want, you can hold the bridge pose just like this. Either way, we're squeezing the thighs together. I choose the more passive version here with this, so I'm going to place the block underneath. And try and keep your neck nice and long. And close your eyes if you'd like. Don't let your knees fall out. We're keeping the thighs, the knees all squeezed together. And then just come back to that breath. And we're going to remove the block if you have that underneath, gently lowering your hips to the mat and bringing those knees into the chest. We'll gently rock side to side, massaging the lower back. And then if you'd like, coming up into a self-hug, thanking your body, your mind, and your breath for everything it did for you during this practice. And then when you're ready, just allowing your body to sink into the mat. Bringing the feet out to the width of the mat. Hands next to your side, palms facing up. Eyes closed. Unclench your jaw. Relax your shoulders away from the ears. And find that breath again. As we come into our final pose of Shavasana, relaxation. Enjoy these last few minutes of peacefulness. Begin to invite some movement back into the body. Maybe circling the wrists, wiggling the fingers or the toes. Bringing the hands up above your head and stretching a full body stretch from fingertips to toes. Taking your time, waking the body up. When you're ready, bringing the knees into the chest. And gently allowing yourself to fall over to one side. Coming up into a seat. If you'd like, you can bring your hands into prayer. Thank you for sharing your love, your light, and your energy with me today. Namaste.